Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about my 5 least favorite nonfiction books. Let's get into it. So starting off at number 5, we've got Duel by Simon Pegg. Now this is a book that I was super excited for when I first saw it on the shelf of my used bookstore here. I had no idea that Simon Pegg had his own autobiography, and I am a huge fan of his work, especially the Hot Fuzz Shaun of the Dead era stuff. That was the best. So I was super excited for this book. I thought it was going to be hilarious, it was going to be amazing, it would have kind of his typical Simon Pegg humor. And it definitely did, but at the same time, this book was just so incredibly underwhelming. I'm pretty sure that this is the only book I've ever read that I feel 100% just neutral on. I was bored at times, I was entertained at others. Everything that was positive and negative about the book just kind of balances out. And I think this is probably the only book on this list as well that I don't actively dislike. So if you are a fan of Simon Pegg, I still recommend that you check it out. Maybe you will take to the book a little bit more than I did, but it just wasn't my favorite. Coming in at number 4, we've got Girl, Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. This is one of those books that I think I actually had a more positive opinion of it when I first finished it compared to now. It's been over a year since I've read this book, maybe even 2 years. I don't know when I read this book, but it's been a while. To be honest, it was just not for me. Girl, Stop Apologizing is basically supposed to be kind of like an encouraging self-help type book where the author talks you through things that she's been through in her life, and I guess she wants to impart some of that wisdom that she's learned on you, the reader. It didn't feel super relatable to me. I don't feel like the author and I are similar enough types of people. Like, she's very peppy, very positive, like to the point where sometimes it seems almost like fake positivity. I do also remember the book being fairly repetitive and more based in kind of her opinions and feelings than straight up facts or advice, which I guess can kind of come with the genre, but for me, I tend to look for self-help books that are a little bit more kind of fact-based or study-based. So that's what lands this book at number 4 for me. Speaking of books that kind of just tell a story of someone's life, we've got book number 3 on the list, and that is Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Again, I think this was one that I preferred more when I had just finished reading it compared to now. I did find that Shonda Rhimes was a great writer, and I do remember when I first read this book, or I think I listened to it on audiobook, I remember thinking to myself like, wow, she's such a great writer in the beginning of the book, and then by the end of the book I was like, oh, feels like she just kind of keeps reusing the same writing, the same techniques, I guess, while writing were just brought up over and over again, and that fresh kind of snappy, really interesting writing style got real old and real stale real fast. I think the author has some amazing accomplishments, and while reading this book, I was really happy to see that she was, facing her fears and getting over things and trying new things. But to me, it wasn't enough for me to kind of take the lessons she was trying to teach on and into my own life. Coming in at number 2, we've got a book that I actively disliked as I was reading it, and I think that most of my dislike for this book comes from the fact that I was so excited for it, and that is The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. This is a book that I was super excited to get into. I love science, if you don't know. I did a biology degree, and when I read the title and the back of the book, I thought that there would be a little bit more scientific content, a little bit more neuroscience, maybe a little bit more of comparing the octopus to humans even. And there was a little bit of that sprinkled in there, but not nearly as much as I feel I was led to believe from the front and back covers of this book. So it very much felt just like someone had swapped my expectations for this book. This book was very much so rooted in the author's experiences and little anecdotes and things, which were enjoyable, but when you go into a book and you, I guess, are expecting a little bit more of an education, a little bit more science and fact, and then you just get stories, it feels a little bit less worthwhile, just based on what I went into it expecting. So this was not a very long book, but I do recall sitting in my room at my desk forcing myself to get through it. Even though it was only 200 and something pages, it was a struggle to force myself to get through this book. If you have any recommendations on books about octopuses, please do put it down in the comments below. I know that that's a super, super niche topic, but I feel like because I didn't get that neuroscience fix that I expected from this book, I'm still searching for a book that I can get that from. I have heard that there's a book called Other Minds. I will put it on screen here, but I've heard that that book might be what I'm looking for. So if you've read that book, or if you know of another book about octopuses that can give me that neuroscience fix, let me know in the comments below. Coming into my number one least favorite nonfiction book, and quite honestly, this is my least favorite book I've ever read. If you've been on my channel before, you might know which book this is, and it's kind of a surprising one for a lot of people out there. I am talking about The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I believe that's by Stephen R. Covey, I think. It's been a while. I'm always shocked when I go to Goodreads or Amazon or whatever and I look at the reviews for this book because so many people have been helped by it. And I'm really glad that so many people have been helped by it, right? There's a reason why it's a huge mega bestseller book. But for me, it felt outdated, dry, repetitive, extremely preachy. It was just everything in a self-help, efficiency, productivity type book that I don't want. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you think that The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a highly ineffective book, because oof, I get so riled up thinking about the reading experience I had with this book. It was just awful. That being said, I would love to see a book of a similar title or something that is along the same lines that is a little bit more up to date. I would love to see a book that maybe takes a little bit more of our growing technology and the influence of technology and social media and all these different things. I'd like to see a book that covers these concepts of being highly effective, but puts it into the modern day, because I feel like this book is aging and it's not aging well. If you have a book like that you can recommend to me, again, please put it in the comments down below. Everyone, that is what I've got for you today. Those are my 5 least favorite nonfiction books, and that last one is just my least favorite book of all time because it was awful. Again, if you've got anything to recommend to me or anything that you want to say, go ahead and drop that in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like and subscribe for future videos. I noticed that a really large percentage of people watching these videos are not subscribed, and I'm sitting here like, hello. I'd love to be your friend. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's chat nonfiction books. Let's grow together as a community. Anyways, that's everything I've got to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.